An interesting story you're about to hear. Joining us now, former White House physician, Congressman Ronny Jackson. Congressman Jackson, you had relatives that were in the crowd tonight, and tell us what happened.
Yes, Sean. So my nephew was at the event tonight, and they were in the friends and family pen, and they heard the shots, and everybody dropped to the ground. And I don't know if you guys have the picture or not, but he was grazed in the neck. A bullet crossed his neck, cut his neck, and he was bleeding.
This is your
he got up.
Congressman, this is your nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my nephew. They were there. I'd set them up. They went to the rally. They were in the friends and family pen, which was just to the president's right, down a little bit lower on the left on the screen, but to the president's right in the line of fire. And they heard shots coming in. Apparently, there was someone also that were 4 or 5 rows behind them that was critically injured. Whenever he was shot, they realized that a bullet had grazed his neck. My sister-in-law had encouraged him to go to the first aid tent, to the triage tent. They went to the triage tent, and when they got to the triage tent, while they were there was another member of the crowd, unfortunately, that was in the triage tent that was on a gurney in the tent that had a devastating wound, had a critical wound to the head, that was dead. So, just a horrific experience.
Well, let's talk about what the president did say about his injury. And I ask you not as a congressman, but as a medical doctor. I was shot with a bullet. It pierced the upper part of my right ear. We have gone over that head turn that everybody's been focused on, Dr. Jackson. And you could see, had that turn not taken place from the angle that I see, that probably would have hit him right in the head. He probably would have been assassinated based on how close this got to him. We're talking about a millimeter or two, and this would be a discussion about an assassination, not an assassination attempt. He said he knew immediately something was wrong in that he heard a whizzing sound, shots, and he immediately felt the bullet ripping through his skin. Talked about much bleeding and realized immediately what was happening. He very quickly dropped to the ground. All these other guys jumped on him, and I'm sure that in and of itself was not exactly a comfortable moment for anybody, but God bless those men for putting their lives on the line and covering him and protecting him the way they did. When you talk about, life is really, in this case, I don't even know if it's an inch. Is it a millimeter? You tell me.
Sean, it's millimeters. That is as close as you get to dying. That bullet, if he had turned just a little bit, would have entered his head, and if it had entered his head, it would have crossed through his brain, and he would have been dead. This is the closest you get to dying. And I just want to tell you a couple things, Sean. First off, I know his detail. And he has an unbelievable Secret Service detail. They are some of the most dedicated Secret Service agents I've ever been around. I've got some serious questions about Secret Service leadership tonight, but I don't have any questions about his detail. His detail is the best they're the best that's out there. And I want to say I have never, Sean, ever been prouder of my president tonight. When he got up and he had blood on his head and he shook his fist, unbelievable.
I know him so well. That was a projection of strength that I think will symbolize this event as we see it through the prism of history. It's hard in the moment to see that. We've had other moments in history. Ronald Reagan famously saying, for example, before they operated after he had been shot, "I hope you're all Republicans." That comes to mind. Or George Bush after 9/11 with that bullhorn. The rest of the world will soon hear from us. There's a moment. Donald Trump gets up. He was just shot, and he has to put his fist in the air, not once, but twice. Dr. Jackson, thank you.
Sean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sean,
Les.
that man's a warrior. He's a warrior.
Yeah. We appreciate.
He's a warrior, and he's fighting for all of us.
We appreciate you being with us.